It's me, Innocent again, back at it with the visual novels. If you cannot tell by now, I quite like visual novels. And this one might be a little iffy to read, I know. But this is Lads in Distress. I found it quite cute. It's, if I remember correctly, about fairy tales but swapped. So instead of princesses in far-off castles, it's going to be princes, and you get to be a lovely ass-kicking princess in pink, I believe. Yes? Yes. I'm not going to double check, because I'm going to be jumping right into the game. Are we ready? Because I am! Oh, this is fancy. Like, in comparison to the other few that I just did on my channel, look at the detail in this picture! Holy crap, if this was hand-drawn by the people who did this, like, oh my god. That's really nice. Anyway, this is our lovely princess that's going to go and save people, I believe. So let's get on right into this. I'm just gonna use my regular voice for her. How about that? I frown in concentration as I carefully tilt the bottle just enough to add a single drop to the pot. There's a loud sizzle, and I watch with a satisfied smile as the liquid in the pot turns a cloudy blue. Perfect. I knew it. I'm a genius. A knock on the door cuts my celebration short. I scowl in annoyance at the sudden interruption. You may not come in. The door creaks as they completely ignore my order and enter the room. Nicole? Okay. You wound me, Charming. At his voice, I turn around with a smile. I'm greeted by the sight of my best friend, his hands clasped over his chest in a dramatic gesture. I mirrored his teasing grin and threatened him playfully. You know I could have your head off for disobeying my command blatantly like that. I drag my finger across my throat for emphasis and wink cheekily at him. Nicole's eyes widen comically as he staggers backwards in an exaggerated manner, making me snort at his performance. He abruptly drops the act and flashes me a good-natured grin. You wouldn't. You're too fond. Words. They are not my strong point. Yet again. Yet I keep doing these videos. You're welcome. You wouldn't. You're too fond of me to have me executed. It's true. Nicole has been my best friend for as long as I can remember. He's a mere 2 months older than me, and we've always been together, even as babies. His father used to be my teacher for magic and potion making, and as a result he was allowed to live in the palace with his family. Since there weren't many kids in the palace, Nicole and I easily became friends, and partners in crime for our many mischievous adventures that always got us into trouble. What potion are you making? Nicole strides forward and peers into the pot. Let me guess. An invisibility potion? It's looking good. Of course, I would expect nothing less from the student of mine. I make a face at him when he coughs at his own words. Ever since Nicole took over my tutor after his father retired, he's been making teasing remarks whenever possible about his new elevated status. He conveniently leaves out the fact that I can count the number of lessons he's taught me on one hand, because I'm as good as him in magic, despite the fact that he's half fairy and magic is in his blood. Do you have an actual purpose for coming here, or did you just want to laugh at me? Oh, thanks for the reminder. I almost forgot. I'm here with a message from the king and queen. My smile falls, and I turn my back on him, fixating my attention on the potion in front of me. I reach for the nearest jar of ingredients and start examining it, pretending to be busy. That can wait. As you can see, I am in the middle of something important. You know full well how disastrous the consequences can be to mess up even a single step while making a potion. But that won't happen because you're Princess Charming. You don't make novice mistakes like that. I can't help but smile with pride. Of course. The glint of amusement in Nicole's eyes immediately rouses my suspicion. Why are you looking at me like that? The realization that Nicole has tricked me into The realization that Nicole has tricked me into belying myself slowly dawns on me. I briefly consider making up another excuse to avoid this conversation, but I decide against it in the end. I can't run away from this forever. I might as well get it over with. Well, you successfully softened me up with some flattery. What does the message say? Nicole hands out a scroll towards me. After a moment of hesitation, I take it from him. Oh, what's this? It's a list of all the guests that will be attending the royal ball next week. It still needs your approval. I thought that was spit for a moment, and I got very, very concerned that she was just spat at him like, fuck those guests! Anyway. I snort and toss the scroll aside without sparing it a second glance. My approval doesn't really matter, does it? Charming. I know this is unpleasant and unfair for... Definitely. I'm glad you know it too. But you know that your parents would never have asked this of you if you couldn't have been avoided. Words! Why are they harder than usual today? Ugh! But you know that your parents would never have asked this of you if it could have been avoided. We've tried every alternative, He pauses, as though catching himself from saying something he wasn't supposed to. I make a mental note to ask him about this later. The kingdom needs this. We need you. I chew on the inside of my cheek for a moment, struggling internally. Frankly speaking, the idea of getting tied down to such a young man... Alright, 18 isn't that young, but still too young for marriage in my book. It terrifies me. There's skill... Good job, mouth! There's still so much of the world to be explored. There's so much I've yet to do before being preoccupied with the duties of a wife, and in the future duties of a mother. Yet, on the other hand, this is my duty as a princess. I have to save my people. How could I ever refuse help? How could I ever refuse to help people in need, especially when they're my people? I know. That's the only reason I'm going through with this. Fine, I'll look at the list. Eventually. Though I doubt my disapproval of some guests might be invited would change anything. I'm still getting married off to a random noble I meet at the ball. Does it really matter who we invite? Well, just look at the list whenever you can. Your parents also want me to inform you that you should stay away from men whose names are on the list that are circled. My curiosity is reluctantly piqued. Who? Why invite them to the ball in the first place? Nicole doesn't answer, giving me a playful smile. Inwardly, I curse at how well Nicole knows me, and how well he can play me as a result, using my curiosity to his advantage. All right, you win. I'll do as I was asked, but only in one condition, that you will answer any questions I have. Nicole's smile grows wider as he bows deeply. You derive a hard bargain, Your Highness. I accept your terms. You know where to find me when you need me. Oh, now you remember your manners and act like a loyal, subservient subject, after sneakily manipulating me into agreement. Nicole gives a loud laugh and turns to leave the room. Well, with his leaving, I'm going to end the episode right about here. Thank you all for watching, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye!